Welcome back, listeners. My name is Larry Kallevig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Haven Financial Group radio show, where every week we talk about retirement, things you can do and you should be doing, having a plan, and not just a plan with your money, which is important. And we do wealth management, and we're certainly not small, but estate planning, is a big part of that with our partners with Carrie and Keith at Provision Law. And then also the insurance aspects with Medicare and healthcare and making good decisions there. All of the retirement puzzle pieces and making sure you have all the pieces to the puzzle and you don't get done to the puzzle. And a lot of people are doing puzzles now because it's winter in Minnesota, if you haven't noticed. So those are the areas that we are very proud to have helped the last people now entering our 11th year. And we're very proud of that.
Absolutely. I always say it's one-stop shopping if that's in fact what you like. And I think it's a great thing, Larry. People can come in and the right hand can speak to the left hand. So when you're tax planning and your estate planning, everybody knows what the other is doing and everybody's on the same page. That's a real benefit.
And that is the biggest compliment that I've gotten over the years since we've been able to put multiple personalities in all of these areas is, wow, it's so nice to come to one place and you guys are communicating and talking to each other and things are working together, coordinated or in unison and not working in different directions. So you're right. It was the goal when I started the company 11 years ago. And thankfully, it's come to fruition. And if that sounds of interest, we'd love to visit with
Let's
you.
give everybody the number at 612-504-8400. We want to continue our conversation about what makes a fulfilling retirement. And obviously, only you, the listener, knows what makes a fulfilling retirement for you. But we're talking about a few things that we think are sort of common for a lot of people. We chatted just a moment ago about inflation and making sure that your retirement is inflation proof. Now we want to talk a little bit about some of the habits that you might live by. Larry, I know that I've spoken to you and many other teammates, and one of the things you guys all say is, yeah, we talk about the numbers and that's our primary job, but we also do a lot of chatting about what makes a good retirement with our clients. I mean, you guys care about the people who walk through the door.
Yeah, it's why we're doing that health and wealth seminar. It's because they go hand in hand. And if health is a game changer, and again, when life doesn't cooperate with our calendar because health sometimes steps in and intervenes and interrupts things. So prioritizing health, engaging in regular physical activity, maintaining a balanced diet. Now we just came off the holiday season. I get it. But maybe getting back to more of a stricter regimen than you had over those 2 weeks. It all strengthens the immune system, improves mental well-being. Maybe that's going on walks. I have clients that, we at the Mall America here, they go to the Mall America and walk in the Mall America. Actually, I've heard more of that than you would think. Or fitness classes, or one of the popular ones is pickleball. It's very popular. That is if you have good knees, of course. And so at the end of the day, health has to be a priority because I've seen that interrupt too many retirements way too early.
Well, I think that bad health obviously interrupts what you had planned, but it's also a financial burden, correct?
Yes, it can be. That's when we get to the health care. And that's why they say, and numerous people have said it, that you have the early years of retirement, which is the go-go years. You have the middle years, which you start slowing down, the slow-go years. And then you get to a point where the no-go years, and the no-go years tends to be where healthcare and those type of expenses increase. So when we build out a plan, we factor in the early years. Maybe you still travel and you want to do the things, so the costs go up and then they go down a little bit, and then potentially they go back up a little bit. We hope not. That's why staying in the best shape possible. Another one we're in the people business. So I do a lot of public speaking and I'm talking to people all week. And some may know my wife, Rochelle, is a social butterfly, the office manager at the office. And she can literally talk to people 7 days a week. But by the weekend, I have to say, I have to turn it off a little bit. And she goes, "You're never social on the weekends." I'm like, well, I talk for a living 5 days a week. So, but for retirees, that is an important piece because your friends at work probably were the ones you talked to a lot. Now you're retired. and maybe you can only talk to your spouse so much. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't have said that, but
She's listening, you know
cultivating those
that, right?
relationships. Yeah, I know. I know. She's going to point that out. But those relationships, you got to have some activities where there's some
Absolutely.
social. So pick up on that. Maybe it's continuing education. I've just had one of my clients who retired last year. That's what he did. He didn't have his degree, and
Oh,
now
that's
he does.
fantastic.
It's in something that he
Yeah,
really wanted to. I have a brother-in-law that owns a medical staffing company in the Twin Cities here, who's he says he's still working, but we know that's not exactly the case. And he's going to go, actually, he's always wanted, and I didn't know this, go to auctioneer school. And I didn't believe him at first. So guess what? He's going to auctioneer
good
school
for
in
him.
March. So it's whatever you've had on your to-do list or the goal list that you haven't accomplished, that guess what? Maybe that's what you should set out to do.
Absolutely. I love the idea too of maybe, all of your work life, you didn't have time to give back the way you wanted to. And I think giving back is really important in your retirement years.
Numerous of our clients are big into volunteering. They're big into it. It's a passion of theirs, whether at the hospital, whether at the church, of a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. So I completely agree. And what's better than
Yeah.
helping others, that
It's
really
a
need help.
fulfilling for them
So
and for you.
it's very fulfilling. And again, another one is because we visit with lots of different personalities, as a lot of people do, but maintaining a positive attitude is so extremely important because let's face it, we have those that are negative Nellies and those that are super positive. An optimistic approach goes a long ways. It creates resilience, more happiness. And isn't that what you really want in retirement? And I would have to say, maybe something that we could do to accomplish that is maybe turn off the news a little bit more. Now, we appreciate the listeners listening, and I'm not saying don't listen or watch any news, but in some people in retirement, they have a lot of time on their hands and they never turn the news off. So they're bombarded, no matter which side you're on, with negative, 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 and negative. And a human being can only take
That's
so
right.
much of that. So that might help to create that positive attitude because we have to my our model has always been faith, not fear. And you if you're living in fear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that is not a good
That's
recipe
for
for
sure.
retirement.
Another thing that you've said many times here on the show, but I think it bears repeating. You really want to sort of strategize about how you go about your retirement. I love the idea that you've said, think seriously before you retire January 1st if you live in Minnesota, for example, because it's snowing and it's cold, and that may not get you outdoors or get you moving the way you should. And if both you and your spouse are going to retire, maybe you want to think about doing it at two different times.
Yeah, a popular one is staggering it 30 days just to kind of
Yeah.
ease into it. And you're right, in Minnesota, numerous times I've heard, wow, I sure wished I wouldn't have retired in October, November, or December because it was a long winter. And again, I didn't want to slip on the ice, and I'm not really into winter sports. And I wished I would have retired in the spring. So it's a consideration that people should look at. And another thing is, we talk weekly about having a financial
Mhm.
plan creates financial stability. Knowing where your money's going, having a partner that's you can rely on to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, that can reduce stress in itself. Uh, and then we just came off the new year, and there's some people call it resolutions. I call it goal setting. Setting goals, to get to somewhere, you got to have a plan as well. And I'm not bragging, but it's something that I've been very, very good at for the last dozen years. And my wife goes, I don't know if you've done your goals for the year yet. Yes, I have. They're in my office down. Oh, I guess you already did. So I think setting goals is important. Maybe that's being the new year. We just had a wills, trust, and legacy class. People have been talking about putting an estate plan together for 10, 20, 30 years. Why not in this why not make 2026 the year that you
Right.
accomplish
Right.
that or have a financial plan or just find a new partner. Maybe you're not getting that attention. And at Haven Financial Group, we would love that opportunity in any capacity in any of these retirement areas because that's really what our specialty
It's a new
is.
year and it can be a new you. The number is 612-504-8400. That's how you get hold of the folks at Haven Financial Group. Tell them you heard us here on the radio and you'd like to set up a free consultation. Come in and meet the team and see if this is a partnership that you can move forward in the new year. Again, it's 612-504-8400. When we come back, turning your hobbies into passions. That's right here on the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.